Earlier this week, I made a video regarding Sanders criticizing Harris for her, for her little fundraising stunt in the Hamptons. In the Hamptons, and Harris has been going at it with Sanders, saying that she doesn't agree with Sanders' version of Medicare for all, in the sense that she still supports a private option. Now, California is a big state. It's a delegate-rich state. They have a lot of delegates here. California is a big battleground, big geographic-wise, 'cause that's a lot of ground to cover, and also because there's a lot of delegates. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, in order to get the nomination for the Democratic Party, you have to get at least 2,382, 82, 83, 82. I don't know, 80, I don't know, around that number, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. Again, correct me if I'm wrong, but you have to get at least somewhere around that amount. California has a lot of delegates, so it's a big deal to win California. And not even win California, but get a large chunk of those delegates to your side. So the article is from Associated Press, and it reads, Sanders, Harris set for showdown in delegate-rich California. Bernie Sanders has promised to win the California presidential primary in March, but home state Senator Kamala Harris is defending her turf. Putting the two on a collision course in a state both see as a critical stepping stone to the White House. Sanders' campaign advisors rank California among what they call the crucial first five contests. By making a strong showing in those states, Iowa, New Hampshire, Nevada, South Carolina, and California, they believe Sanders can establish himself as a dominant candidate in the crowded Democratic field by early March. On Thursday, he rolled out a proposal to combat climate change, a major plank of his campaign, in a northern California community ravaged by wildfire. Harris, meanwhile, has locked down endorsements from most of the state's Democratic elected officials and recently announced having 10 paid staffers in California. Both candidates are in the state this week to address Democratic Party leaders in San Francisco. By investing in California, the biggest prize in the presidential sweepstakes with 495 delegates remains a gamble for both. It's far from clear that the effort will be money well spent if the candidates don't place near the top in the earlier states. If their campaigns are flagging by the time Californians start voting. Mail-in ballots start going out February 3rd for the March 3rd primary. And in a state where most campaigning happens on the airwaves, having a grassroots network in San Francisco or LA, LA may not save a candidate who is already sinking. At this point, no other Democrats are betting on California like Harris and Sanders. Former Vice President Joe Biden has 5 staff members in the state, with several focused on fundraising. Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren has no paid staff but is building a robust volunteer corps. Sanders, a Vermont senator, has 11 staffers on his payroll. The problem for candidates: how do you budget for a California primary when you don't know how you've done in the first 4 states? Asked longtime Democratic strategist Bill Carrick, who is based in LA. The first four states are incredibly consequential to who actually ends up a contender in California, he said. Still, Sanders' campaign could spend $25 million or more chasing votes, a sign of his campaign's commitment to the strategy to manage the campaign in sprawling California. Sanders' campaign has broken up the state into 5 regions and started to build up organizations in those areas. The idea is to target places like the LA region and the San Francisco Bay Area as states within a state, honing in on local concerns. On a recent swing, he discussed immigration in San Diego, homelessness in LA, and housing in San Francisco, where a typical one-bedroom apartment rents for $3,500. Jesus. In each area, we look at it like it's Iowa, like it's New Hampshire, said campaign spokesman Joe Calvello. Harris's campaign is relying on lawmakers backing her candidacy to amplify her message in their home districts. They're also helping raise money for her. She sent out a plea for donations Tuesday, warning that Sanders has raised $45 million in this year and has a large grassroots organization returning from his 2016 presidential campaign. Harris also benefits from a campaign team with a long-winning record in California. The consulting firm running her campaign, SCRB Strategies, is led by a longtime San Francisco political hand, A. Smith, who is well versed in the state's diverse geographic areas and complicated delegate rules, and has worked for Hillary Clinton and former California Governor Jerry Brown. Being California's home state senator is a benefit and a liability, said Brian Brokaw. I think, a longtime Harris advisor who does not have any formal role in the campaign. It's an opportunity in that it's a state where she's poised to do very well and has a strong base of support and needs to do well, Brokaw said, but at the same time, we live in a world of finite resources, and having to spend money in your home state typically isn't at the top of any candidate's party list. Sanders and Harris present generational, gender and racial contrast for voters. Sanders, 77, is white. Harris, 54, is a daughter of immigrants from India and Jamaica. but they aren't necessarily chasing the same voters. Sanders has firmly anchored in the party's liberal wing, but the shape of Harris's coalition remains largely unknown. And said Carrick. Is she going to try to Is she going to try to take votes from Biden or Bernie or Warren? He asked. Sanders turned in a noteworthy second place finish in California to eventual nominee Clinton in 2016, taking 46% of the vote and carrying 27 of 58 counties. For his army of veteran volunteers, the job has changed. They spent the last election introducing the self-described Democratic Socialists to voters. The fight this time is for indecisive voters who are also giving a strong look to Harris, Warren, and other candidates who share similar ideas. In 2016, people were like, "It's Hillary. Who is Bernie?" said volunteer Sanders organizer Melissa Mitchelson. But this time, she finds voters a bit confused and with the array of choices. And making a pitch to Democrats, the response I get a lot is waiting and seeing, Mitchelson said. Despite residing in LA, Harris has held few public events in California since launching her campaign in Oakland. Instead, most of her visits have been for closed-door fundraisers. But her campaign has been mobilizing volunteers through Camp Kamala, training events in San Diego and LA. Most of the volunteer events listed on Harris's website are aimed at other states, like an organizing rally in North Carolina and phone banks in Nevada and South Carolina. Sanders' website lists about 20 upcoming volunteer events in the LA area alone. With intense competition in a large field, Sanders appears to be aiming at a broader range of voters this time. He recently did a video interview with Grammy-winning rapper Cardi B. And that concludes the article. Like I said, California is a really big state. Sanders and Harris are heavily invested in the state. Sanders because California has a large amount of delegates, but also because Harris is the home state. But Harris, I think she's the Bernie in this case. When it comes to comparing Bernie Sanders 2019 to Harris 2019, Harris, to some degree, she has a lot of name build. She has to build up her name like Sanders did in 2016. Hillary, she was known because she had the name recognition. Sanders had to build up his name, and when Sanders was giving her a run for her money, things were starting to get a little bit more interesting. Harris, in this case, she has some name recognition. I personally have never heard of her until she's decided to run for president, but it could be an advantage. However, Sanders could use her whole closed doors donation events to his advantage, because a lot of people are getting fed up with career politicians who take money from wealthy donors. Sanders has been a huge critique of this, and I personally agree with that sentiment as well. I don't like Sanders now, but I do believe that in order for you to be a trustworthy politician, you need to get a lot of fundraising, the majority of it, even that, all of your fundraising from basically local people, constituents, right? Sanders, he prides himself on doing that. He prides himself on literally fundraising money from ordinary people. Harris, on the other hand, she could have those private closed-door donation events to her disadvantage, because a lot of people are very skeptical of those, because they make you question, who is this person representing? Are they representing my interests, or are they representing the interests of the wealthy, right? You get the point. But again, let me know what you guys think. Do you think Harris has a chance at beating Bernie in California? Do you think Bernie's going to get a large chunk of the delegates? Or do you think Harris is going to pull out an underdog moment and win a large chunk of the California delegates? Let me know what you guys think. If you like this video, hit the like button. Share the video. That lets me know that you like to hear what I have to say, even though you might not agree with me all the time. And you want other people to hear what I have to say. At the same time, YouTube has ranked independent political commentary, so you sharing the video really does help a lot, and I appreciate that. If you're new to the channel, hit the like button. And hit the if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification button as well, that way you never miss an upload. The last segment is going to be focusing on Trump, so it's going to be a good one. I'll see you guys in a little bit if you guys can stick around, but if you can't, I'll see you guys at a later time.